Onegaishimasu. So today we'll start off with a little breathing conditioning exercises, and then I'd like to get into ni no tachi today. So we'll have bokken a little bit later, and if you don't have bokken with you, you can always pick up just something as a substitute. Reach with one side, reach the other side. Reach with both sides. I gotta check on something. Gotta check on something here. That's better. I had to mute somebody. Okay. So I was here. Okay, for this one, 90 degrees. Instead of Hamni, take a 90-degree stance. Bend well here. Keep the knee in the frame of your foot. Don't go past your toes. All right, and then open up your chest and reach. Sorry, I'll go this side. Reach, open up your chest. Look far into the distance. Bring your shoulder blades together in the back. Then release those shoulder blades. Change the angle of your back hip to more of a Hamni angle, 60-degree angle. And then take a longer stance to stretch through here. Still attend to that front knee. Keep it in the frame of your foot. So move your head with your elbow together and then differentiate. Your head this way, your elbow that way. Change over, mix it up. And then look up, here, there, and everywhere. Sense the changes in your ankle and your feet as you shift where your balance is. Let's go to the other side. So first, the 90-degree stance. Open up wide, bend in the front knee, but keep the knee in the frame of the foot, not past the toes. Open up your chest. Imagine your chest is convex. Shoulder blades together in the back toward the spine. Breathe and look far in the distance. Then release those shoulder blades. Change the angle of the back leg to a 60-degree Hamni-like angle. Attend to your front knee and stretch and turn, but don't let this hip fall. Don't let it fall in. Keep this hip behind this hip even as you turn. All right, then let your nose and your elbow move together. Head and arms moving together. Feel that movement in the thoracic part of your spine. Then differentiate. Your head and your elbow move opposite. Then look up here, there, and everywhere. All right. Bring your weight to the left foot as if you're going to hop up and down. Head, hip, and foot are in a certain alignment. And this is light. Opposite way. So this hip is moving and this one's stable, right? This one's moving. This one's stable. Now change it up so that this one moves. Feel that motion. This one's moving passively and this one's turning, swiveling. Now let's take the movement back to this hip as you squish, 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 squish. It's like you're squishing something out with your foot. And now we're going to move it back to this one again. to gently stomp, 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 far away, close, behind you, here, there, everywhere, and shake it out. Come to the other side, as if you're going to hop into the air. Okay, let's do a little Tai Sabaki exercise. It's going to relate directly to our Nino touch. So let's look at the right foot forward. You're in Hamni. Your weight is forward. Feel that recruitment happening in the thigh muscles here. And then turn the back foot. This hip comes forward a little bit. Then shift your weight into that back foot. Make sure you're stable enough you could stand on one leg in the middle here. This foot passes close to this foot, and then step back around yourself. So I'm going to try to face the camera more directly. If your weight is forward, dial up that back foot, shift your weight into it, and draw that leg back behind your foot. Take care that you're not too far over here, but that you're behind your front foot. All right, so from right Hamni, initiate movement from your hip, step back. Sink down a little bit, turn, dial up that back heel, bring your weight into that foot, stable at this point, step back. All right, let's try it on the other side. Left Hamni, sense the weight, the work that the thigh muscle is doing here, your knee safely in the frame of your foot. Start the movement in your hip. So there's a swiveling motion. And as you swivel in your hip, allow that to speak to your foot. And then shift your weight into that foot. Stable in the middle, step back. Finish in a nice clear Hamni. All right, so from left Hamni, everything starts at your center and step back. Finish weight forward. Sometimes you can really improve your movement by attending to how you begin. What's happening in the first 1% of the motion. Start from right Hamni, sink and turn, and come back. All right, let's experiment with sink and turn and come back, finishing with your weight forward, which is pretty much what we've just been doing. Now let's do a different iteration where you step and you come back and you bring your weight back into the back leg. That's the difference. Coming back here, the front foot light. Back here. All right. Do the other side. Begins the same way, but actually bring your weight back into the back leg so this leg is light. All right, now compare that with the prior. Step back, but really keep your weight forward. Check out how light your back foot is. Step back, keep your weight forward. Strong enough in the front leg that you could tap Tap, tap, tap with your back foot. And let's try the other side. Step back, keeping weight forward. All right. So now what I want to do is develop this a little bit into kind of a backward rolling exercise, which might be difficult for you, Joe, but you can continue working on this. How do you transition from one leg being kind of on one leg for a moment and then stepping back? And Joe, you could try that on either side and compare how you do on one side versus the other. You'll probably find one side is a little clearer and easier than the other. Okay, and then for the benefit of the people who have a little space, floor space, let's work on stepping back as we did, but now this time step a little closer to yourself so you can put your knee down under your hip, have a seat, and if you have space, roll. Okay, so take the movement that we just worked on and kind of connect the dots into this smooth rotation to bring your knee down and roll. So as you step back, you're going to turn, rotate on this hip joint to put your knee down under you. A sense of stepping off the line of attack and then rolling. Rosa, it looks like maybe you don't have enough space. If you don't have enough space, you could just work on the rotation and bringing your knee down. You can imagine throwing your partner, ryotadori, kokyunage, boom. Make space for them to come through. Or you're receiving a weapons form and you need to take ukemi. All right. I might have to change the camera angle a little bit for this next part. Okay. So let's imagine I've already done this part. Here, I'm just coming down. Now I sit and roll and come up the other side. So let's do this a couple different ways. One way, I'm going to come at an angle. If I was sitting on a clock and 12 o'clock is behind me and 6 o'clock is in front of me, then this is 8 o'clock and this is 4 o'clock. If 12 o'clock is this way, then it'd be 10 and 2. But I think of it as 6 o'clock here, 12 o'clock behind me. I'm going to roll and come up towards 4 o'clock. And then 8 o'clock. So look at that pattern first. Rolling from hip, up the long muscles of your back, across to the opposite shoulder, and down the other side. It's like you're imprinting this U shape. Sense that shape or that trajectory. Hip, across to the other shoulder and down, imprinting that U shape. All right, this time I'm going to face 6 o'clock and rotate in the air so that you come down at 6 o'clock. So there'll be a little skidding, sliding feeling in the center of your back, which feels pretty good. Right there. Here, turn your hips in the air. So it's 6 o'clock every time. All right, this time I'm going to go from 6 o'clock to my right over here, what I think of as 9 o'clock. So my left foot is forward, my right is under me. This leg is going to come out and bring me 90 degrees to the right, 9 o'clock. Now the left leg is going to bring me back to 6 o'clock. So a 90-degree change. Take this leg and send it out at an angle. All right, this time let's swap over. My right foot's forward, my left is under me. I'm going to move from 6 o'clock to 3 o'clock over to my left. The left leg is going to extend and bring me over to 3 o'clock. The right leg is going to help me return. 90-degree change. That's good. I see Hugh's doing it. I can't really see Rosa's legs well enough to tell, but it looks like you understand it. All right, so now let's go from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock. I'm going to start with left foot forward. My right leg is going to just clear the table all the way around so that I can come up over here, 180-degree turn. Now the left leg is going to swoop around, bring me back to 6 o'clock. So almost like a little breakdancing motion where you're sliding, kind of spinning on your back. Feel where, if you have the sensitivity, can you identify which vertebrae you're spinning on to bring yourself around. 180 degrees. I've got to change the trajectory of this leg. It's got to come off like a low, like a bird or a plane taking off in the air. It's a low trajectory to bring me far around. If I only need to go 90 degrees, I can take a little steeper takeoff. Oop, up there. Steep. But if I want to make it all the way to 12 o'clock, I got to make it low. Go ahead, try both sides. That's good. Rosa, you could try sending that lower leg at a lower angle. Stay closer to the ground, and it will take you further around. You could try going 3/4 around the circle. What would you have to change if you wanted to go from 6 o'clock all the way around to 3 o'clock? That'll help you figure out how to move that lower leg. You're going to keep it kick it out a little closer to the ground. All right. Okay, so you can play with this pattern, and you set an intention about which clock, say, which clock number you want to come up on, and then you move your body, organize yourself to go there. And you set a new intention. This time I'm going to go over here, and you organize yourself to go over there. If you can go 3/4 around the clock, change. So it's a way of just practicing in a small space to set an intention and then move your body to be able to do that. Plus, it's fun, and you can actually get your, can be aerobic if you keep it up. All right, so now I'm going to transition to the wall. I've got a little piece of blue tape. You can't even see that, can you? I've got a little piece of blue tape, blue painter's tape, so it doesn't hurt the wall. And now I'm going to set a new intention. I want to touch that blue tape on the wall without kicking the wall, without hurting my foot, to figure out my distance, right? So that I go back and I just touch it. Okay, that's too far away. Let's see, how can I adjust? That's too far the other way. So you work with this. Where do I need to be so that I can just touch that spot on the wall every time? All right, then you can change the tape. Now I'm going to make the tape a little lower. Now I have to change how I move myself a little bit and touch that. Okay, so if you have a piece of wall, go ahead and try gently touching the wall with your foot in a precise spot. We're still at the 11 o'clock. Good, it looks like you've got the idea. So just one other thing to say about this is that if you touch the wall and stay there, it's a little bit like replicating that moment when you take a roll and your feet are high and your shoulders in the ground. If you can hold that there with the help of the wall, you can give yourself a little massage to the shoulder. Check out whether your head and neck are free. And it gives you a little insight into what's happening in the middle of your roll. A lot of times people report there's a kind of a blackout space in the middle of the roll. I started my roll, and then I don't remember what happened, but it came up, and there I was again, right? As we practice longer and longer, it's a little easier to hone in and be aware every moment of the roll. And being able to use the wall as a way to kind of freeze frame in the middle of your roll. And if you have any issues with, well, most people don't roll the same left and right side, right? So if you want to help figure out what's going on my right side versus my left side, then making good use of the wall is a way to kind of stop the roll midway and check out what's going on for me on this side versus that side. So that's something you can take back into your practice whenever we get to practice again. I can work here. I just did something to my earpiece. Can you still hear me? Can you hear me? Uh-oh. No, uh-oh. I did something. Oh, man. Well, I touched something. I heard a little bleep. Can you hear me? Yes? Oh, thank God. All right, let's take a bokken. good to go. All right, I think I'm going to change the angle again. Let me bring you up a little bit. A little bit close to the picture here. Let's try this. All right, so let's start off with, I think everyone here today is pretty familiar with katate suburi. And just sense, it's that when you shift your weight and turn your hip, it's a little bit like this movement we worked on earlier. So you can examine how you begin that motion so that your arm doesn't have to do any work. You're making good use of the ground, shifting your weight, turning the hip. Everybody has space. You're not in danger of taking out the furniture. And the other side. So when I bring the bokken up, there's a shape here, right? And this is the lowest point. Let's see. I go here. Lowest point. That's the phase. And when I bring it down, I want to maintain this 60-degree angle here. 60-degree angle. Make sure you're not doing this. Right? That's going to give you tendonitis over time. So get really used to this stopping point, how that feels in your hand. You come up and then to neutral, but not down. The other thing is, when I say up, you don't actually want to pull the tip up, right? You want to sense that you're sending this part of your hand down. Send this down, and the result is that the tip comes up. So check that out for just a moment. Sense that this is going down and that you're not pulling the tip up. So there's a little board behind me on the wall, and you can see if I'm here, there's a way you can use your muscles to bring the tip up, and you may feel that in this part of your arm. There's another way of sending the heel of your hand down to lever the tip up. Now, here I'm coming away from that, that board behind me there, and this way I'm sending it down. So it's just something you can attend to in your suburi. To what extent are you pulling up over and over again? Are you really sending the heel of the hand down to bring the tip up? Sometimes that's pretty subtle in what you're doing, especially if you're paying attention to other things. Send the heel down, heel of your hand down. And then how does that work when you're doing kesa, right? Now I'm in the kind of cocked position, and as I come through, I want to maintain that neutral wrist and the 60-degree angle. Don't overdo it. Here, find that clear stopping point in a way that doesn't take tension to make it stop, but it just starts to feel like a natural stopping point. Boom. Once your wrist is neutral, it's done. You're in the right spot. Try the other side. Kesa, shoulder to hip. All right, let's look at Shomanuchi. We'll do a little Saburi pattern where your feet are together, and then you step back into Hamni. All right, then you come together, Boken is high, step back into Hamni as you cut. Just a Saburi exercise, and really helps you get very aware of how you're using your hip, the rotation in that hip joint, and where you're sending that foot back. Not too far behind you, but just right position. What's the timing, the relationship between upper body motion and lower body motion? And then bring that wrist motion into it, that attentiveness to how you begin the motion, sending the heel of your hand down to bring the tip up. Brings it, gives a kind of lightness and loft, buoyancy. Okay, so can't see the glare. All right, so in Nino Touch, your right foot is forward. You raise to expose your knee. You're kind of putting a spotlight on your knee and saying, here's where I'm open. Go ahead and take the knee. Right? Then you scoot back and you close that opening. So let's look at that for a moment. From right Hamni, raise to invite the attack. Imagine that your knee is tingling and bright, and as you're bringing your opponent in, then scoot back and close the opening. And you want the shinogi to take the impact of your partner's blade. It's a very steep angle, though, so it's not a lot of whacking. All right? Open, close. Now, use your left hand to move your tip up to your partner's wrist. From here, a motion like this in your left hand to bring the tip very efficiently from low up, just up to the wrist. It's as if you're going to take the wrist. And in fact, you're giving him an opening. He's a savvy opponent, and he sees this opening right here. So he stays close, comes under, and starts to come toward you. That's when you use this motion that we worked on, shifting weight back to receive. Shift the angle of your boken with your hip motion. Right? You want it integrated into the hip motion. So your partner, what your partner's doing is they see that opening and they come in toward the knee. They're cutting at a very steep diagonal, but you close the opening. Now now I'm the other partner, the other role, right? That makes this wrist open. And so you take the wrist, but this partner is savvy enough to stay connected, turn, really using the hip here, and coming in. So let's just call it, sometimes people get confused about ukedachi and uchidachi. So let's just say partner A is making the opening, closing it. Making a new opening, closing it. All right. Meanwhile, partner B is taking the bait each time. Partner B sees that knee, tries to take it. Then partner B sees the opening of the rib area and comes under and eats. All right, let's go back to partner A. I open my knee and then close that opening. I go as if to take the wrist, making an opening right here. Partner B takes it. Now we're on the finishing motion. I'm going to use my hip, shift my weight a little bit, and the final awase. So from left hominy, how that works is you turn your hip a little bit as you press your partner. The left hand goes from palm up to palm down. I just want to take my tip toward, almost in line with my own hip or my partner's hip. I want to see his bullpen come around and come for me here. Here. He's coming here. I'm going to take a small step around myself, swiveling in this hip joint. Hip high and come in. Oh, I see. So I'm going to change the angle just so you see it at a new angle. It helps arc too over here. I'll be partner A. I make an opening. Imagine taking that knee. I close the opening. Now I'm going to go for your wrist. You swivel under it and ski for this target. Step up and ski. Receive that. Now, this is where I'm going to step around myself. Press. Receive that press and bring it around your body that way. It's going to go that way. Yep. All the way around your body. Step forward and take my head. That's where I finish. All right. So that finishing motion, you step around your foot, not too far back. Keep your weight forward and come in. Let's look at it this way. The left foot, I'm giving a press. He's going to come around to this side here. Step around myself pretty close and come in. So that footwork, you got to keep your weight forward, just momentarily push off this foot to close the distance. A lot of times people overdo it. They come in too much. Generally, if you're in the right spot, it's a minimal closing of distance. Also, people often step too far back and shift their weight back here. You shouldn't be light enough here to tap your foot. You should keep your weight in this leg and just momentarily push off. Okay, so I'll be partner B and you be partner A. All right, let's do it together. The timing may be a little winky with the delay of the video, but you make an opening and I'm going to come for your knee. And then you come for my wrist and I swivel around and ski. You receive it, give me a press, and I'm going for your head and you finish me off. You do the owase. Yeah. All right, let's try it again. You give me an opening, I'm coming for your knee. Then you go for my wrist, I swivel around and come for your rib. You give me a press, I come around to take your head, but you awase and finish. Good. All right, let's change roles. I'll be partner A this time. I give you an opening. You come for my knee. I close the opening. I go for your wrist, but you come in and ski. I receive. Now I'm going to give you a press. Come around for my head to the other side here, and I awase. So partner B has to receive that. Supple in the elbows. A slight shift of weight to your back foot will do a lot to get you out of distance. So if the target is here, just softening my elbow gets me this far out of the way. Shifting my weight gets me that far out of the way. And then if I need to, I could step back. That's pretty far out of the way. So from here, imagine you're going to get hit. Relax in the elbows, shift your weight, take a step. Don't take a step first. Sometimes people are stiff here. They take a step, lose their balance, right? Get used to receiving. Your hands return to your belly, your elbows soft, supple, and sink your weight. Just shifting your weight, turning your hip a little bit will get you out of the way of a lot of strikes. And then if necessary, you can take another step, even come down, take a roll. So you want it to be progressive. You got to keep a jack in the hole, right? You've got to keep, you've got to do first things first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't resort to number 4 first and leave your thumb out there. So where are we at? 10 minutes. Okay. Why don't I think what I'd like to do is stop the recording and then just do a little question and answer and talk with you and see what questions or comments came up for you. Okay, so let's, I'll do a little bow out for for the recording, but don't go away. All right.